What is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Today we're talking about strings. Okay, here's why. I was getting ready to do some stuff for a video, and I was playing this baritone, and I felt like it was sitting a little bit far back in the mix for me, and it wasn't making me happy. And so I grabbed this other baritone because I have a glut of guitars, and I tend to prefer this one to this one, but this one sounded better. So it got me kind of checking some stuff out. That has way fresher strings on it than this one, and so it seemed like the perfect time. I want to restring this, but it seemed like the perfect time to have a control, to have before and after with this one, to show you how I restring, to do all of that stuff. So this video is going to be all about strings, and it's going to be with my baritones, but this holds true for any instrument at all. Itchy. It holds true for any instrument at all. So, you know, it holds true for guitars and basses and everything else. I have expectations. I'm not going to share them with you. I think I know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Sometimes it doesn't go the way I expect it to on these videos, and that's pretty cool. First things first. If you today there's not going to be any really lesson materials, but if you want to join me on Patreon, you want to support the channel, the link is below. I have t-shirts. You know, I got my Bones guy, I got my cat guy, right? There's also hats and mugs and sweatshirts and all types of stuff. It's on this website. The link is below. It's the Printful, right? And I have merch. I sell instruments. I build these. I also build conversion necks for lap steels. The link to my reverb store is below. Also, though, I just shipped one. I just shipped a neck to England. I'm happy to ship stuff overseas. If you don't see anything you like in the reverb store, a lot of that stuff is already listed, but only shipping to the United States, just because I got to figure out shipping and everything. So, you know, hit me up for a better price. I think I have some necks listed to go anywhere in the world, but like again, I'm hedging my bets on like shipping. So hit me up. I can give you a better price on the instrument, the instrument or the neck, and I can give you a better price on shipping than just like a blanket. Like, oh, here we go, because I got fees and stuff to deal with. You know what I mean? We're good to go. Is that it? Everything? No, finally, this. If you just want to leave me a tip, you're like, yeah, this is super helpful. I don't want to join a Patreon. I don't want to buy anything. I just want to leave you a tip. QR codes. People have been really, really generous. I don't read off the names, because if it were me doing the stuff, then I wouldn't want people reading off my name. But if you want me to read off the name, then just leave your name in the note thing. I really appreciate it. And it makes all the difference in the world for me. So, that's that. Okay, strings. These are old. I don't know how old, but they feel, you know, rusty, and they feel crappy. And so, let's take this off for now. I use this to, you know, for when I use a capo. I have the video about that, if you haven't seen it. And let's see what it sounds like. I'm going directly into my tungsten 5-watt plexi. I'm going into the normal channel, and it's at 6. My hands are cold. And I'm using Righteous. This is a mahogany center strip with cedar. I think it's a mahogany center strip with cedar sides. I think that's right. So it's going to sound very different than this other one, but let's look at it anyway. Oh, and then they also have, this is Righteous Sounds. This is a Righteous Sound Ninja and a Righteous Sound Bluebird, which is like a Firebird style pickup. So one more time, just. Okay, now this is an ash center strip with Carina sides, and still a Firebird pickup. This is from Lawler. It's a little bit higher output than that one. It's not a 1-to-1. And then a Joe Barden modern Telly bridge pickup. You can already hear how much punchier it is and brighter. And some of that's the ash. Oh, I left my air compressor on. I'll turn that off when I go out there. Now these are higher output pickups in general than the ones on the other baritone, but this to me right now is way punchier. And these are not brand new strings either, but they are just newer. Now, obviously, two very different sounds, you know, right off the bat, but I'm going to tell you, the red one right now, it's punchier, it's livelier, it's making me happier personally. But we're going to go to the shop. We're going to replace the strings. I will explain to you the strings I use. I will show you how I restring an instrument, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to see how this sounds against that after new strings. Okay, so welcome to my bench. I have some fancy tools. You can do this without them, but I have the tools, so, you know, why not? When I take strings off, I always loosen the strings first, and the reason is this. I've heard a lot of people say things like, oh, don't cut the strings off when they're under tension because they can tweak the neck. I don't need to be mocking. I don't know why I'm being mocking, but like, I've never seen that, and I've worked in a lot of shops for a long time. What it does do, though, is it releases, it hits the gear. When this is under tension, you have this gear on there pretty tight against the worm and the crown are hitting each other pretty tight. And when you release that stuff fast, it snaps back. And so that creates more play in your tuners. And so it slowly degrades the tuners faster than if you just don't have them under tension like that first. So I'm just gonna loosen, let me make sure this is in the shot. Is it in the shot? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Right, and I have this fancy, this is a turbo tune from Dean Markley, but you can get a bunch of them. I have it in a electric drill. Or no, electric screwdriver. If you put it in an impact, it's so much faster and it doesn't have the same touch. It's fine, but it seems to be it's a little unwieldy for me, and I've used them all the time. So just to be clear, that is to me not the way I would use it. And we'll see how that sounds with the sound of the drill going. Once I have them down, I can cut them. And again, these are baritone strings. Oh, and these nippers are probably, you know, they've been with me since I started doing this probably. So pretty dull. I could probably buy new ones, but you know, not an expense I need. So now there's an opportunity. And you know, again, baritone strings. I think I probably already drilled this tuner out a little bit to accept how big these strings are, but they're harder to get out. This is an opportunity to oil your fingerboard, steel wool it, get everything cleaned up. You know, I have marks on here you can see from the capo. Is that in the shot? Just make sure. Okay, it's not. Let's get it more in the middle of the bench. I definitely don't want my feet in the shot. I'm wearing shoes, but I can't handle it when people's feet are in the shot. It bothers me. So anyway. Some steel wool. This is quadruple zero steel wool, and it'll just clean the fingerboard real nice. And already that looks really nice, and you can feel, oh, it feels lovely. And what's cool is these, I didn't know these inlays were going to be glow in the dark when I when I put them on, or glow in the dark or whatever. Like they react well under stage lights, where you can totally see what's happening under stage lights, which I was just trying to do something cool and different. And I don't know that I would do this again quite this way, but they really work great under stage lights, and they're really cool. So that was a cool outcome there. Now I use GHS boomers, and I buy them singles. I buy the singles. For the baritone, I use a 20 and a 22 on top, and then 36, 48, 60, and 74. So this low string is a 74, which is pretty beefy. Ooh, I gotta do one more thing first, but I'll talk about this real quick. For my normal strings, for my normal lap steels, I use a 16 to 60 set. Again, it's not a set. I buy singles, and I make up a set for myself. But my singles for my lap steel are 60, 16, 18, 26, 36, 48, and then 60. Okay. This already looks great. I want to do one more thing, which I talked about and that I didn't do, which is this is an opportunity for me to oil this. And the way that I like to oil a fingerboard, and there's a bazillion ways to do this. I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way or anything else. Where is my foam? Where's my foam? It's somewhere. Oh, it's right here. Right in front of me the whole time. Okay, so the thing I like to do, this is a piece of foam that just came from, I think this is one of my one of my Pelican cases, but you can get them from, you know, it comes with everything. It comes from pickups and all this stuff. And you can see it's already pretty like impregnated. It feels like the right word, but I feel like people are going to be unhappy with it for some reason. I just put a little bit of oil on there, and I'm just using cutting board oil. I'm not getting all food grade mineral oil, enriched with orange and lemon. We don't have to get crazy, okay? And look at that. It looks awesome. It looks freaking awesome, okay? So I cleaned it, cutting board oiled it, and then I just take a rag and I wipe off the excess. And I can just, you know, if there's any stuff there, I'm gonna wipe here, but I'm gonna hold the bridge. Is the bridge in the shot? Good, okay. I'm gonna hold the bridge in place, right? Just so it doesn't change my action, which I was happy with. Same thing here, I'm gonna hold the studs in place, and I'm just gonna wipe. What's going on there? Okay. Looks like something got, looks like there was a run in the finish, but I know that's not it because it's probably from sanding it after it was finished and I burned it when I was doing, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The point is, okay, now I take one string and I want to get this on before I do anything else because that locks this in place, locks this in place. But check it out. So I set my tuner up, harder to do on camera. Set my tuner up perpendicular to my fingerboard. At my 12th fret, I just want it to be tight. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna loop this once over the top. Now, I could also just wind it up over the top. In fact, with the 74, I'm gonna do that because it's so hard to do. And you always want the string coming off the inside of the tuning machine. Does that make sense? So on this side, I want the string coming off the inside this way. But I'm winding it once over the top and then underneath. And what that does is it locks that tail in place. That's it. And with the 74, it's pretty gnarly and big and brutal, and that's probably too sharp, but it'll be fine. With the other ones, it gets easier. But it's the same thing each time, which is I'm taking the string and I'm putting it in the fatty part of in between my finger and my hand here, right? So throw the string on the ground like a professional. So I'm just putting the string on, pulling it through. Again, it's perpendicular. All right. And then at the 12th fret, see where this is? I've got it in between my fingers and there, and I just put my first finger at the 12th fret. That's all I'm doing. I'm holding it here. I'm gonna have a consistent string length for each one, which means I'm gonna have consistent wraps for each one, and I like the way that looks. And then again, instead of wrapping it up, which was hard to do on the 74, it's way easier on the 60. But you see how I'm just making this loop here? I'm basically just wrapping it in advance. I could just turn the thing. Pulling it tight, I bend the tail up, and then I wrap. Now, I could do it this way. It would take longer. I could do it with a string winder. It would take less long. I like doing it this way because I'm lazy, but it's all the same thing. This is just, you know, this is like a $100 electric screwdriver or something. It's way overkill for what I use it for the most part, but I do this so much that it makes sense, right? I do this for clients, I do it for me. Ow, stab myself with a string. And so that's that. I also like to work from the outside in, just because it's easier for me to put this string on first than to try to do this one, and then this one at the end where all these strings are here and it's harder to get under them to get in or whatever. So outside in here and then outside in on the top strings. And check it out. This is a 20 plain. I haven't wrapped it yet at all. I've just got it on there and I can pick the instrument up with it and it's not going anywhere. You see what I'm saying? That's already locked it in place. I don't need to do anything else. It's not going anywhere. You'll notice that when I did that though, I did keep my hand under the instrument just in case. This thing's fallen from further onto harder, but still. Okay, and then finally, I like, there they are. I like these little cutters. They're super tight here, so I can really get in here and cut these really close to the tuning machine. I will use the bigger, heavier ones on the bigger strings, I think. But, you know, these are pretty good. Yeah, and for that big guy, I'm gonna actually watch this. I wanna get in here and I wanna cut this shorter than it is. Having it right up against this string was a pain. So, pull it out a little bit, then cut it. And then wrap back up. Nice and easy. And real quick before we go back to the studio. See how nice it looks? Each one of these, and you can kind of see the mess back here. I don't want you to see it, but that's what it is. You know, I got the same number of wraps on each one. There's 2 wraps there, there's 2 wraps there, 2 wraps here, 3 wraps, 3 wraps. That's what's up. All right, and we're back. Now, I've tuned it up. I didn't film that part because why? But I did want to show you this part, which is once we're in tune. Okay, we're in tune. But the next thing I want to do is I want to stretch the strings, and this is key because that's at B-ish. There. Now that's at B. I'm gonna grab the string between my fingers and my thumb. And I'm gonna squeeze, okay? And I'm squeezing. I'm not squeezing gentle. I'm not going gorilla on it, but I'm not being gentle either. And what I'm trying to do is just tighten up, you know, the ball end in here. I'm trying to tighten up these wraps up here and watch how much more flat it is. That went down almost a half step. And I wanna take each of these strings and I wanna do that. Okay? Now, I think a common misconception is that the metal is stretching. We're stretching the strings. We're not. We're tightening up all the places that need to be tightened up. That's all. But this is the most common reason for guitars not staying in tune, is the strings not being stretched properly. And again, I think stretching is a misnomer, but you see what I'm saying, right? Now we're in tune. So now we can test again. We can see and I'll pull up, let me pull up what this sounded like real quick from before. And they're really different guitars. It's really interesting. I think the new strings obviously made a big difference as far as like comparison-wise. This one feels a little more focused. That one feels a little bit wider. But this one feels punchier, and I gotta be honest, I'm really loving the way it sounds right now. So while that one's been going to the gigs with me, I think this one's going to the gig with me. That is cool. That is not what I expected, to be honest with you. I expected that when I put the new strings on that one, that I would just greatly prefer it. But this has this punch and this sparkle that I really, you know, I do associate it a lot with Ash. They both sound great. They're both for sale, by the way. If you want one, feel free to reach out, mattbradfordmusic@gmail.com. I probably didn't even put that earlier. Hopefully I put it on the screen. But yeah, if you're interested in one of these, you know, reach out and we can work something out. But yeah, that's cool. I did not expect that. Thanks for hanging.